Really happy to be here today to present Sprint Bioscience on my day 26 as CEO of the company. So I will do my best to represent the company in a good way. And so for those of you who do not know Sprint Bioscience, we've been around now. We just celebrated our 14th birthday. We're listed on First North, and we are located at just in close proximity to Karolinska in Huddinge. So I'll give you an introduction to what we're doing. So we are a company that is primarily focused on small molecules targeting oncology, and we're operating in the discovery phase. We have in our site in Huddinge, we have two primary groups. So we have a very capable biology group, and we have a chemistry group, which works very closely together. So the biology group works on identifying very relevant targets by continuously monitoring the literature and the scientific community. And then we have our chemistry groups that works with fragment-based drug discovery to create molecules that will target these targets. This will then be going back to the biology group to validate that these targets are relevant and our molecules works. Then we work pretty early with our licensing deals, and this is maybe a little bit different compared to other companies. So we do our licensing deals very early. We rarely go into the GXP area, but we find licensing partners already in the discovery phase. So this is more to describe a little bit better our business model. So where we work is finding novel targets. We're finding good lead drug candidates, and then we partner early, where we find partners already in preclinical phase, where we normally get an upfront payment. Then we continuously, of course, get the development milestones, and then we get royalties upon market success. But we also have a little bit of a different, our latest deal was, additional a little bit different to that. So one of the major milestones that we had in Q3 was this deal. So we managed to license one of our products, what we call the VADA program, which is a molecule targeting VAK1. We managed to license this to a company called Day One Biopharmaceuticals in the US. So this made it possible for us to get an upfront of $3 million. But equally important, it also was a little bit different compared to the deals we did previously. So what happened? What this deal is that we will continue to work together with Day One. So historically, we essentially gave the opportunity for another partner to continue to develop the program. But in this one, it's a little bit different in the sense that we continue to work together with Day One to progress this project forward towards the IND-enabling tox studies. So this has generated a different way for us also to generate revenues in the sense that they will also fund our development activities going forward. And considering the current landscape and for funding, this also means that we essentially have secured funding for the next 2 years by being able to work together with our partner. It also means that we can also focus on to continue to develop the other internal programs we have in the company. Being able to work closely together with Day One also makes it possible for us to lower the operational risk. So the VADA deal, and together with the VPS34 deal that we have done with the Deciphera in the US, constitutes the two partnered products we have in our portfolio. On top of that, we have another 4 projects that has been officially communicated. And to that, we have yet a couple of products that is currently running in-house that we're looking forward to as soon as they mature enough to also disclose to the market. I will quickly mention 2 of the projects. and show you a little bit on how we're thinking when we're working in this field. So we're working. If you look and try to segment the area, we have kind of the immune oncology space of it. We have modulators for the microenvironment, but we also have modulators for tumor metabolism. We have two very interesting programs in this space, one of them being DISA and one of them being NEMA. So if you look at them a little bit more in detail, so the DISA program is it's a way where we see that we can be playing a part in modulating the response to immunotherapy, and we're specifically targeting the TREX1 TREX1 target. And it's been shown that upregulation of TREX1 is involved in immunotherapy resistance. So by being able to target TREX1, it's been shown that you could increase the immune cell infiltration and also have a better response to different kind of immunotherapies, but we also see other benefits of using this pathway. The other one is NEMA, which is then more of a multi-tool in tumor growth mechanisms. We see this as an opportunity to work as a monotherapy, but we also see that there are good ways of using this in combination therapies for immunotherapy and for cytostatic treatment. So very quickly on the where we're operating, I think it was mentioned earlier today as well. When you look a little bit on where the deals happen, and if you look 14 years back and you were looking at how deals were made in that time, you were very much seeing most of the deals being made post-phase 1, post-phase 2A in the proof of concept stage. But what we've seen over the last couple of years is this kind of environment is changing. Many of the big companies are not investing as much as they did historically on the discovery phase. There is a need to fuel the pipeline with new innovation. And we see that we have a very interesting market space to operate in. So we can now see that even more and more is happening in the early space. And we see that we have generated a platform and a way of working that is relevant for the market. So, and we see this is now happening also in the discussions we're having, especially post the day one deal. We see that it's now starting to resonate in the market. And we're looking forward to be able to fill that space. So just quickly to recap, we have a unique, very interesting way of working within the company. We have this very close collaboration between the biologist and the chemist. They are literally sitting meters from each other and working closely on a daily basis, which means that we can be very quick in the way we're turning things around. We've proven that we can actually make deals with this business model. We've also proven we can actually do deals in a very, very early stage with a good valuation of our products. And we have a strong pipeline, and we're looking forward to expand that even further. So with that, I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Johan. So there's some questions here about the deal with Day One, and why do you continue to work with Day One, which, like you said, is different from how you usually do deals?
Well, I think you have to look a little bit on the capabilities on the different partners, and of course, in this sense, I think we complement Day One in a very nice way. So we have capabilities that they do not have, and of course, later on when this moves further towards the clinic, of course, they will have capabilities that we don't have. But I think it's a very nice win-win situation in the sense that we can continue to work on it, we can de-risk it in the sense that we can be very proactive in the collaboration. And then, be able to build on that relationship. So now it's a nice way of continuing that collaboration.
But is it to be seen as a sign that you will change the way you do deals, or this is an outlier?
I mean, I think it's a nice framework for how you can do it, but then you have to recognize that every deal is different, right? So, yes, of course, if I can do more deals like this, I would be very happy, but I would also accept that there will be other terms and conditions to be met in those discussions.
And you've stated in the quarterly report that you're doing a review of the company as a whole in the hope of sharpening the strategy further. When can we expect news on this sharpening of the strategy?
That's a very good question. So, I mean, we're working on it now. I spent now, well, almost a month getting to know the company. I see some really good things. I see some things that there are room for improvement, which, you know, would be true for any company. So now I'll give it a little bit more time until I comment on when we can see changes.
So like you mentioned here, you are very new. I was going to say relatively new, but very new as CEO. What attracted you to Sprint Bioscience?
Well, Sprint Bioscience, first and foremost, for me, had a very attractive portfolio of products. I found it very interesting to see a company that had, you know, a width of products. And and truth be told, coming into company, I would say also I've been amazed by the scientific capabilities. I thought it was good going in, and I can just conclude it's better being in.
Right. So that's what's good with Sprint. So what's good about you? What do you bring to Sprint?
Okay, I didn't think this was a pitch for me. Fair enough. And I think hopefully I can bring some international experience. I spent the last 10 years working for an international company, having the opportunity to work across the globe with different kind of everything from the US to Asia to South America to Europe. And I hope, and what I'm looking forward to do as well is kind of bring that international perspective and bringing it back home to Sweden. So that's something I hope I can bring to the table.
There's been some recent repossessions of assets. Can you elaborate or talk a little bit about how they have affected Sprint Bioscience?
I mean, I think that's kind of the nature of this business as well, and being operating in this very early space. So no, but they have progressed, they have generated new data, and I'm looking forward to be able to get them fully back into our hands and be able to kind of look how we can utilize those assets in the best way.
And that's part of this maybe sharpening of the strategy that you're
may or may not be.
May or may not be. Another question that you may or may not be able to answer then, how are you thinking in terms of any new programs that might potentially be coming up?
I mean, we're looking at it. And as I think briefly mentioned as well, we have a portfolio of things that, of course, haven't been disclosed because we're looking at these projects. I mean, as I said, I think very early, we're constantly looking into the market, kind of what's happening, what's new in the literature. So, of course, we are constantly looking into these targets and kind of building and prototyping around them. But then we, of course, need to see that it's the right target, it has the right market potential, and it also, of course, can generate an appropriate return to our shareholders.
And as a final question then, you mentioned shareholders there, what can they expect from Sprint Bioscience in the near term?
I think they can expect, I mean, we released the report yesterday. I think it showed at least a direction of where we're going, that the model works, that we can do good deals, also considering the current situation, and our expectation is to continue to do that. So I think that's what they should expect.
Thank you so much, Johan.
Thank you very much.